I'd be okay with it. I agree with you 100%. I would love to see him come back, destroy the Rumble. He's over his shit right now. Like, you want to make a star right now, you put him in a match against Roman Reigns and have him do what Braun Strowman did, and you're going to have a new star.
I definitely agree. Now, of course, we're going to have to deteriorate from that and talk about the other major thing that happened in this opening segment, and that is Kurt Angle announcing a fatal five-way matchup at Extreme Rules where the winner goes on to face Brock Lesnar for the Universal title at a later date, more than likely at the Great Balls of Fire event. The participants were Seth Rollins, Samoa Joe, Finn Balor, Bray Wyatt, and Roman Reigns. Before we go further, this right here had my heart just racing because, in all honesty, jeez Louise, I legitimately said to myself, there's no way that they can lose at this because every match I want to see, Brock Lesnar defend the title. I want to see him, defend it against Joe, against Balor, against Wyatt, against Rollins, and even Roman Reigns, who is probably, the worst option. It's still one of those things where I say, I still want to see the conclusion of Roman versus Brock Lesnar. We never got that conclusion. It's one of those things that lingers on in my head where it's just like, well, who would actually win? Who would actually win? And I think that they're still going to hold off on that until WrestleMania, but yeah, I see this as like a win scenario for WWE, regardless of who comes out on top.
Yeah, I mean, I think I wouldn't really care to see Seth Rollins versus Brock. I honestly, I disagree with you. I don't even care who would win between Roman and Brock. Like, I don't want to see that again. Bray Wyatt versus Brock, that could be really good. Finn Balor versus Brock, that could be really good. Samoa Joe versus Brock, all three of those matches could be absolutely freaking amazing because of the amount of talent, plus we haven't seen it. Like, we've seen Seth Rollins get in the ring with Brock Lesnar, we've seen Roman Reigns get in the ring with Brock Lesnar, but we haven't seen those other three, and it would just be insane, I think. I don't even know who I'd want to see more because, like, Balor and Bray are like my two top dudes in WWE, and Joe is just like he's up there for me. I'm not his biggest fan, but I mean I've followed his career for many years, and he's always been like, maybe top, definitely top 10, but very close to like top 5. And like him and Joe and Lesnar, I think, would probably be the most physical of anybody in that 5-man match. But yeah, I think we're gonna get win-win no matter what happens.
Definitely agree. And honestly, this is actually really good for WWE because now they can actually test the waters with how, Bray Wyatt and Finn Balor can do together in the ring. Because I know that there's talks of, having them feud, and a lot of people are kind of hesitant, like, not exactly, probably not going to be very worthwhile. Some people are kind of hesitant about it. But if you ever wanted to just test the waters and see, can these guys go, this is probably one of the best ways to definitely do it. And, of course, everybody knows about the relation. I
think Wyatt already proved he could go.
I agree. Would love to see again Wyatt versus Finn, but we're going to see that more at Extreme Rules. So let's hopefully see more after that. I would be very happy. I'd be a very happy little boy. But this, of course, brings out Roman Reigns, who comes out to massive boos. Go figure. And I will say this, that I was very surprised at how Roman Reigns, really cut this promo. Again, just playing off more heelish than normal, saying, you know what, we don't even need this number one contendership match because, let's face it, there's only one person that can, beat Brock, and it's the guy who's beaten The Undertaker, the guy who's beaten Braun Strowman, and that's me. Honestly, it was one of those things where I was like, oh my god, if Roman Reigns is turning heel slowly, I'm loving this. It's awesome. This, of course, brings out Finn Balor, who says, hey, I've been the first Universal Champion. I never got my rightful rematch. I never even lost the belt. And he even brings up, I was thinking, please bring up that you beat Roman. Please bring up you beat Roman. And he says, hey, you forget, on my first night of Raw, I beat you. I'm like, yes, thank you. Brings up facts. Love it. Of course, this brings out Samoa Joe, who just says, he gets results done, and he says, oh, results, going to beat you guys. Results, I'm going to beat Brock Lesnar. And then out comes your favorite boy, that being Bray Wyatt. And, of course, this brings out Seth Rollins, who really got a pretty good reaction than normal. The New Jersey crowd last night was actually very, very active for the most part of Raw. I was actually pretty impressed.
Well, you want to talk about reactions, like when they were announcing the five guys, Bray Wyatt's was one of the loudest reactions of the five.
I noticed.
I think Finn Balor, Bray Wyatt, and Seth Rollins got the loudest pops out of the five. But I don't know what they're been doing with him. It's clear to me that he's over with the crowd, whether he's heel or babyface, because he's kind of walked that line of heel and babyface. But, let's just go back to when he won the title on SmackDown. Bray Wyatt, who at that time they were booking as a heel, comes out to a "You deserve it" chant when they brought out him being the new champion, and had the awesome match at Elimination Chamber, had an amazing triple threat match with Cena and AJ the following SmackDown. And that's what I was talking about when I say, like, Bray already proved that he can go. I don't think he has to prove anything more than that triple threat match with AJ and Cena and the Elimination Chamber match where it was those three as the finals. He proved in those two matches that he can go, that he can hang with the top. Christ, you had him in a triple threat match against Mr. WWE, John Cena, and, probably right now at this moment, one, if not the greatest wrestler on the planet in AJ Styles. And Bray proved that he can hang with those guys, yet they're still boning him hard. I don't get it. I just don't get it. You got lightning in a bottle with that guy. Jim Ross had said that Bray Wyatt, they need to make him the next Undertaker. You've had the Undertaker in the company for almost 30 years now, and it's been one of your focal points, one of your backbones, one of your strongest parts of your company the last 30 years. Now he's gone. Who's going to fill that role? And you got this young dude with a great gimmick that's over his shit, and they just keep boning him hard.
Yeah, I definitely do agree. I think that they definitely need to really start having more faith in Bray Wyatt. And seemingly they had a little bit, but we'll talk a little bit about that when we talk about the main event, which eventually they announced was Seth Rollins versus Bray Wyatt, and then they also announced the rematch between Roman Reigns and Finn Balor. Oh, man, I'm looking forward to talking about that matchup, but we're going to talk about that just a little later. Move on to the next segment, which was, of course, matchup between Jeff Hardy, Brother Nero, and Sheamus. I thought, that very interesting spot where Sheamus does the dive and Jeff catches him with what they're calling it, the stunner, twist of fate deal. I thought that was actually a really good spot.
Yeah.
That was actually
modified twist of fate.
Yeah, I think a lot of people were actually very surprised by that, and even I was surprised. Oh wow. I knew the RKO came out of nowhere, but I guess Jeff Hardy's just gonna be like, "Hey, anything you can do, I can do better, bitch." So top that. But yeah, Jeff Hardy picking up the victory over Sheamus. They announced, of course, that the tag team titles will be on the line at Extreme Rules. Not quite sure what the stipulation is going to be yet. Just for the love of God, please don't make it just a regular tag team match, because this matchup definitely deserves some major stipulation. I don't care if you call it Full Metal Mayhem, TLC, the tables match, ladder match, anything. Just anything really. Just give these guys, the ball and let them roll with it. I think that they would just put on one hell of a matchup at Extreme Rules.
Yeah, and I don't understand that. They have not announced the stipulation for that match, and it's kind of confusing me. Like, the pay-per-view's not that far away, and I hope it's not one of those things where we have to wait till, like, the go-home show before the pay-per-view where we find out, like, oh, okay, this is what their match is going to be, because, if we know what the match is going to be, they can do spots where they tease it, and, they do certain things, and that just gets you pumped up for it. So, I don't know. Who knows?
Well, maybe they'll build up like a matchup where it's like, hey, you win this matchup, you get to pick the stipulation, which, Cesaro versus Matt Hardy might actually be the best way to do it. And honestly, I'm hoping for, like I said, I'm hoping for at least, some kind of ladder match or something like that. Something that, would seemingly give the Hardy Boys an advantage. I could also see, that Sheamus and Cesaro pulling a fast one and saying, like, hey, we want a ladder match because we want to prove that your WrestleMania victory was nothing more than a fluke. Had we not had two other teams, we would have won. I could see them going down that route. But I think, to your point that you mentioned last week, they might overuse the ladder match a little too much, so they could probably go into a tables match or some kind of no DQ, stipulation, which, again, totally okay with that. And especially if Jeff Hardy gets to do, like, a couple spots in there, that's going to be great. Hopefully build up again to the broken gimmick for Matt Hardy. Honestly, I think with all the things that are just changing up with, Braun Strowman not being able to compete for the Universal title, I think we could see the breakup between Matt and Jeff sooner rather than later. But maybe that's just me. I don't know. Your thoughts on that?
I don't want to see them get separated. Like, they just brought them in. In my opinion, had the loudest pop in WrestleMania history. You don't break that up. Not yet. Unless breaking them up means we are going to get maybe like a rebirth of the whole broken gimmick, and, are we going to get to see, like, Final Deletion Part 2? Like, or let me rephrase that and go back to a little Matt Hardy history. Are we going to get Final Deletion version 2.0?
Hey, I'd still watch it. I mean, if it's produced and created by Matt Hardy, then I would still watch it. I mean, all the stuff he did.
I fucking hated Final Deletion the first time I saw it. I looked at it and I said, what in the fuck is this? This is trash. This is Trash Panda. Like, that's way worse. And, but then I watched it again, and then I watched it again, and probably by, like, the fourth or fifth time I watched it, I was like, alright, this ain't that bad. Like, I don't know, like, for me, it was the fireworks part where Jeff is chasing Matt with the fireworks, and I believe Matt said something like, oh shit, and then Jeff was like, yeah, oh shit, and I was like, oh, I'm dead, like,
yeah.
It's like, oh, it's an amputated boat.
Yeah.
Like, I remember the first time I watched it with Chris, and I was like, this is horrible. Like, who thought this was a good idea? But it was kind of one of those things, like, it just, the more I watched it, the more it grew on me. But, yeah, so I don't know. Like, Hardy Boys are, to me, is, like, my favorite tag team of all time. And if they're going to split them up and have them go do shit separately, I don't know. Matt on his own is okay. I think Jeff on his own is okay. But those two shine when they're together, I think. So, there's money to be made with... I think there's more money to be made with them together for the company and for themselves than if you split them up.
Yeah, I can see your point being there. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see what the future holds. I'm really liking where they're going with
Yeah, I
Sheamus.
mean, we're